Okay. I'd like to call this public meeting in order. If everybody would rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Don, do you want me to do the reading and approval of the minutes? Even though I'm not chair yet.
I'm sorry, Commissioner?
You want me to do the reading and approval of the minutes?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. May I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion.
There's been a motion. Is there a second? Second. On the question, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, and the motion passes. Opportunity for the public to address the board on agenda items only. Anyone from the public want to address the board? No? Okay. All right. Motion 24-2000. Motion to appoint a chairman and a vice chairman of the Board of Elections.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to name Bill Gaughan chairman for this year.
Second. On the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. And congratulations to me. I'm the chairman. I'd like to make a motion to appoint Matt McGloin as vice chairman of the Board of Elections.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second on the question.
Congratulations to me.
There you go. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it, and both motions pass. Motion 24-2001. I'd request that someone make a motion to follow Robert's Rules of Orders for conducting the Board of Elections meetings.
Motion.
There's been a motion. Second on the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it, and the motion passes. Motion 24-2002. Request that someone make a motion to temporarily relocate the polling location of Old Forge 3 from Old Forge Borough Senior Center, 310 South Main Street in Old Forge to Eagle McClure Hose Company, number 375 Milwaukee Avenue, Old Forge.
Motion.
There's been a motion. I second it. On the question, we have our Director of Elections, Beth Hopkins, here to talk about this.
Thank you, Commissioners. Old Forge has been doing some construction on their building for the past couple years, and they have informed us that they're still not ready for us to come back as a polling place. That's why this is a temporary move and not a permanent move at this time.
Okay, very good.
And Commissioners, for expediency, if you want to combine motions 2002, 2003, and 2004, because they're all moving them from the municipal building to the same hose company, you can do that.
Okay, sure. Okay, anyone else on the question? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it, and the motion passes. Motion 24-2003 and motion 24-2004. Can I have a motion to temporarily relocate the polling location of Old Forge 6-1 from Old Forge Municipal Building, 310 South Main Street in Old Forge, to Eagle McClure Hose Company, 375 Milwaukee Avenue in Old Forge, and temporarily relocate the polling location of Old Forge 6-2 from Old Forge Municipal Building, 310 South Main Street in Old Forge, to the Eagle McClure Hose Company, 375 Milwaukee Avenue in Old Forge.
Motion.
There's been a motion. I second the motion. On the question, Beth Hopkins. Oh, this is the same thing as the first
Same
one.
thing.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay. There's been a motion and a second on the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it, and both of those pass. Motion 24-2005. I'd like to request a motion to temporarily relocate the polling location of Scranton 6-1 from Riverside Housing, 200 Emmett Street in Scranton, to Jackson Heights, 1001 Jackson Street in Scranton.
Motion.
There's been a motion. I second the motion. On the question, here to speak again is Beth Hopkins.
Commissioners, there was a fire at the Riverside Housing community room a few years ago, and the residents there tell me that they're probably going to rebuild that community room. We're not sure when. We don't want to make it a permanent move because the residents in that area would prefer to stay right in their neighborhood. But for now, in the past few elections, we have moved it temporarily to Jackson Heights, and they're facilitating it. So if we could do that, please.
Sure. Anyone else on the question? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it, and the motion passes. Motion 24-2006. I'd like to request a motion to permanently relocate the polling location of Madison Township from Madison Township Municipal Building, 3200 Madisonville Road in Madison Township, to Madisonville Independent Fire Company, 3131 Madisonville Road, Madison Township.
Motion?
There's been a motion. I second the motion. On the question, Beth Hopkins.
Commissioners, we were notified on January 29th, 2024, by the Board of Supervisors of Madison Township that they no longer wanted to serve as the polling place in Madison Township. In the past, we used the Madisonville Independent Fire Company. They had some roof damage, and that's why it was moved initially. So they've done their renovations. We went out and did an accessibility study on the building. It met all the requirements, and we have decided to move this polling place.
Very good. Anyone else on the question? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it, and the motion passes. Motion 24-2007. I'd like to request a motion to assign poll workers to work the April 23rd, 2024 general primary election outside of their voting district.
Motion?
There's been a motion and a second. I second it. On the question, Beth?
So as you know, ideally, every polling location, every board has an elected judge, majority inspector, minority inspector, and there's clerks appointed there. Sometimes there's not always an elected official in those specific districts, and we like to say we kind of go to the bench. And we have people that are willing to be poll workers throughout the county, but they don't necessarily reside in that district. And it's your obligation as the board to approve those people to work outside of their election district where they reside.
Okay. Thank you very much. Anyone else on the question? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it, and the motion passes. Now is the opportunity for the public to address the board. Would anybody in the audience like to address the board?
Hi there. Kara Francis, Roaring Brook Township. Just a couple of quick questions. We are in an unkind world right now, and I think we are probably all in agreement on that unkind world status. With that being said, I want to know if there's anything being done right now, any action steps being taken to secure the elections for April or for November.
Now, when you say secure the elections, what do you mean by that?
So Josh Shapiro's talked about securing the elections, and he's put together a task force for securing the elections. Has anybody been in contact with maybe their office, Josh Shapiro's office, the Bureau of Elections, possibly the emergency management agencies? Anything?
We have not been contacted by the governor's office with regard to this, but, we take the normal security precautions that we've always had in place for our elections. There's no additional plans at this point to take any additional steps.
Okay. Yeah, sure, Beth, go ahead.
I mean, ideally, each ward would have an elected constable that serves at their polling place. Not every ward does have one. In addition to that, we have sheriff's deputies on call all day long. They're roving patrols, and they're stationed in the upper valley, the lower valley, throughout the city of Scranton. And we have sheriff's deputies on staff here while the pre-canvassing and the canvassing is going on. So when the mail-in and absentee ballots are being pre-canvassed and canvassed here, the sheriff's deputies are here securing not only just the employees that are doing it, the ballots themselves under the watchful eye of the sheriff. So that's the security that we have in place currently in Lackawanna County under our office.
So with what just happened in, say, Scranton, maybe at the school district level where there was a security threat, what about the fact that we're on machines? Are we doing anything to harden
We're
the
not on
machines?
machines. Beth can talk to that. Go ahead, Beth.
None of our election equipment is online.
Okay, so then what if the power was to go down, or if there was some kind of emergency situation
Right, so
outside the
there is like a
buildings?
backup powers on the machine. However, in addition to that, we do still vote on a paper ballot, and there's an emergency slot on the machines that can be opened, that all those ballots can slide into and be locked, and we could always bring them back here and do a manual hand count if necessary.
Commissioners, we do have contingency plans in place for all these types of issues. They have occurred over the last however many years we've been voting in Lackawanna County. I don't want to get too specifics into security, though, because that could be a threat in and of itself, feeling what some of our security issues are. But we do have policies in place in case of emergencies and in case of polling places go down. I mean, last year, we had a polling place go down in Scranton, and we were able to get it up and running within a matter of an hour. It was taken care of. So we do have emergency contingencies that I don't think we should discuss too much in public.
Okay, thank you.
Excellent, thank you for that. What about, can I have either one of your opinions on the process of hand counting of ballots? What's your position on the hand counting of ballots? Just
Commissioners,
generally
I'm going to
speaking.
advise you not to even get into that. This
Excuse
is
me,
not
sir?
this is not a role for that. But we have a procedure in place. We're following the state law, and that's
Right. We follow all the state laws. I'm very confident in our Director of Elections we've not had a problem that I've known of over the last several years.
And is anyone in relation to the election board bonded?
Is anyone, she asked if you're bonded. All elected officials are bonded, yes.
Who's our bond with then? Bonding agency?
I don't know, but we could find that out for you.
Excellent, okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to address the board? Sure.
Hi, my name is Stacia Serafini, and I was curious with the temporary change in a polling location in, let's say, Old Forge, how would voters be notified of the change?
Beth?
Because election days, especially this coming year, with the presidential election, I can tell you that the polls are really jammed. So I don't know how voters would be alerted to the fact that they need to go to a different, venue.
So Old Forge is kind of unique because we have been temporarily relocating that since 2020 or before that. But in addition, if a polling place is temporarily relocated, the old polling location is posted on Election Day, giving them, where the new polling place is. It's posted on our website, and we do an election notice in the newspaper that runs prior to the election that lists all the polling places by their ward and district and the address where the polling place is.
Thank you. And then my second question is, when will the temporary polling change take place? During the primary or during the general?
The board just currently voted to temporarily relocate it for the primary, and we will readdress the issue in the general election to see if they need to be relocated at that time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Sure.
Thank you. Relative to that.
Sir, could you state your name for the record?
Frank
and where you live?
Serafini, Music. Relative to that, the polling place in Old Forge is on Main Street in Music. McClure is on Milwaukee Ave. That's a trek. That's not just walking a block or two. So I'm assuming, and then a lot of people just don't get this newspaper. And so I don't know how that's going to work out, because the frustration will end up eliminating a lot of voters from the opportunity to go to McClure. And it's right next to the senior housing, the Borough building. And those seniors would have virtually no transportation. I'm just curious if there's a way that a postcard could be mailed to those in those districts. It might be expensive, but it might behoove the voter to have an actual notice. I know the newspaper, sometimes it's hard to read an article like that.
Right. Beth, do
But
you just
that's
want
my
to speak to that
question.
again?
That's my
Sure.
question.
We could look into that. I mean, there would be an expense with that to notify all the voters in those wards. But as Betsy has indicated, for the last couple of years, they've been voting at the Eagle McClure, and it is a distance outside of town, but there's a lot more parking, and it's a lot more accessible also, because it's all level. There's no steps or anything involved with the Eagle McClure.
So how many years have they been voting again at Eagle McClure?
5
At
or
least
more.
5.
Five or more,
years?
yeah.
Right. So people should at this point be pretty familiar with the fact that they're going to vote there again?
I mean, they should be, for sure. And I mean, they do have the opportunity, if there's a physical illness or disability to getting that far, they can request an absentee ballot.
Right.
Well, I know I've had complaints about it personally, but I agree with you that it's, there's always an opportunity for transportation, but the complaints I get are people that because of the frustration of the distance, they just don't vote. But there is an absentee ballot now, or a mail-in ballot, so I could see where that could overcome a lot of the issue. But that's my question. And the money expended for that postcard, though, I don't think would be something that would be prohibitive if you wanted to have a really fair and honest election, just to secure your credibility. But thank you very much for the answer. Appreciate
Okay.
it.
Thank you very much. Would anyone else like to address the board? Okay. Members, other business? Commissioner McGloin?
No?
I don't have anything either. Could I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion?
Second, on the question, all those in favor to adjourn signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, the ayes have it, and the meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice afternoon.